What's going on, everyone? It's time for another horror slasher film review. We're going to continue on with the Friday the 13th franchise today. So today we're going to talk about Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan. It was released by Paramount Pictures July 28th, 1989, and it was produced by Randolph Shoveldale and written and directed by Rod Heaton, who did films like You May Not Kiss the Bride, The Colony, Alien Fury Countdown, and Any Place But Home. It was at a budget of $5 million and made only $14.3 million at the box office upon release. So, Jason Takes Manhattan. This is the 8th film in the Friday the 13th franchise and the last one for a while. and, yeah. So, Jason is resurrected by so there's a couple in a houseboat hooking up and stuff, and they just so happen to float by Crystal Lake, where the anchor that they drop actually hits the cable, which is somehow under Jason, and resurrects him. And then he goes on a killing spree. He targets a cruise ship of some young graduate class of a high school and starts killing them as they sail to New York. And eventually, once they get to New York, he stalks them through New York and tries to finish them off. All right. This is the 8th film. Yeah, so, yeah. Now, what did I like about it? The cinematography and stuff is very cool and very nice. It was filmed in Vancouver, so it does have a lot of good textual visuals and things like that, I guess you could say. It looks very good. You can definitely tell it was in, like, Vancouver area and stuff. It's supposed to be in, like, Maine or something, but no. And also, the New York scenes are actually in Vancouver, the city. Shot mainly there, not actually in New York. So, yeah. But that's the big selling point of this film, right? It's supposed to be he goes to New York. That's only like 10 minutes of the movie. The rest of it's him on a cruise ship killing, which is cool to take Jason out of the element of like the camp and put him in somewhere a little bit odd and different, and really goes for it. And yeah, it was cool to see him killing people and on a ship. Now, some of the kills that were staged are, you could tell it was made for a different film, but they had to make do with what they had. So some of them work, some of them don't. Also, there's a very big lack of blood in this, which is really weird and odd. Like, you get a throat slit and it just opens up a bit and that's it. It's like, okay, like, I guess they didn't really focus most on the practical effects. We'll get back to that in a sec. But, yeah, the acting and stuff is not too bad in this, and overall the music is pretty catchy 80s stuff and has a pretty amusing time as well. So the characters in this are pretty dumb and stupid, typical slasher kill cannon fodder and stuff. So there's not much to really brag on about this, but this is the 8th one in this, so it kind of gets redundant when you watch these, and it's just the same old things. At least they try to change the locations up a couple bits, but the practical effects in this were pretty low key. There is some pretty cool, clever kills in it, but they're very blurred, I guess you could say. They don't really show much of it. They kind of leave it for your imagination, where the other ones were like full on out. You got to see the full kill, which was even more fun. Now, this one is very tame. Also, the way they kill him off in this is he gets hit with some like toxic sewage and melts. And when the base reveal happens, it looks pretty shitty. It looks like shitty claymation or something like that. And it didn't really work that well. This is when I was younger, I used to love this film, but rewatching it, it's pretty terrible. It's not like that bad. Well, it's not bad, but it's not that good or anything like that. You can definitely tell it's the 8th one running out of steam of making these. So, yeah, you can definitely see it. It's still a good, campy, amusing film for some parts, but overall, it's not the greatest sequel. So I'm going to give Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan, a 2.5 out of 5. This and A New Beginning are probably the weaker ones in the whole franchise, I'd say, so far. And yeah, it's not much to write home about. So yeah, but if you want to check it out, I'm not sure where it's streaming or anything, so I'll link the trailer down below at least so you can check that out. So make sure you check out my Instagram that's linked down below. That's where I post clips of films and review in the future on my stories. You put the film title in there and some history thing in there as well. And also my Letterbox down below, Derek P Reviews. That's where I post my first star rating after watching the films. And my Twitter's down below, reviews_Derek. So follow me on those platforms to stay in loop with this channel. like this video, share it with more people, wherever. Comment your opinions of the film down below if you have any. If you have any films or film franchise in their genre and on any streaming service I will hear my opinions on in the future, comment those down below too. I'll try my best to get to them as soon as I can, and if I can find them. But yeah, make sure you subscribe. Hope you find something weird, obscure, and odd they probably never thought I'd check it out together. And also share my opinions on popular films that come out, classic films, and reviews on other things as well. And yeah, make sure you ring that bell because we're going to go on to the 9th Jason movie, Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday, in the next review. So make sure you tune in for that. Watch out for all those psycho resurrected killers lurking around in your cities and on cruise ships because they're everywhere. And I guess I'll see you all in the next review. So until then, cheers.